Hey guys, here's a long awaited tips video. I remember a while ago before I moved, I said I'd do a video about my way, or one way of doing paint chips, especially metallic scratches, paint scratches and stuff, and I never got round to it because of the fact that I was moving, but I'm doing it now. So everyone probably already knows about using torn up blister foam or sponge as a way of getting a kind of random paint chips and scratches. So an alternative to that is using steel wool. This is fine steel wool. I bought a massive bag of the stuff for about £2 in my local Wilkinsons. And if you're dealing with metal miniatures and stuff, you probably already have some of this anyway, because it's good for cleaning up. So basically the idea is you just use this instead of the blister sponge. So see how it's bunched up a bit? That's kind of how you want it. And you want to dip it in your metallic paint or whichever you're using. Like so. There's a big blob on the end, and you want to get rid of the excess on a paper towel. You don't want too much on, else it's just going to blob on. And then you carefully start just getting it all over. Sometimes it's hard to tell how much you need to take off, but if you want tiny little metallic scratches, you really gotta get most of it off, and or alternatively just be really light with how you press it on. There's a couple of big blobs there from. So you don't need to use this with metallic paint on black. This will work. It probably works even better if you use you're painting something a light colour, using a dark brown rusty colour as the paint chip, so it looks like the paint job's cracked and chipped and it's gone to primer. So there we go. That was a bit. Get the light in. It's a bit heavy at the beginning. As you can see, there's this big blob here, but sometimes if you let that dry and then paint within it a lighter colour or metal, that can look quite good. But there's also tiny little scratches as well. So another thing you can do is if you try and loosen up the steel wool, so you're getting just individual strands like that, you can use the individual strands to add almost like really fine scratches. Let's try and find a place. Again, too much. There's one big blob of the stuff I don't like. If you want to try this, definitely try it on some scrap first, because you definitely need to get like a feel for how much paint, how thin it needs to be, and how bunched up you make the steel wool. But if you have a play with it, you can make it look like I've gone a bit overboard here, but focus. The back's quite nice. I think I got the kind of right consistency. But the one thing the steel wool does, which better I think than say the sponge, as long as you're careful and you play with it and get familiar with how this technique will work, you can get really fine scratches, just like as if one strand of the steel wool has just laid the paint on it. But it's tricky to do. I had a much better job of it when I was doing it on my battle suit. You know, the one I painted all gunmetal. But there we have it. Have a play. It's an alternative. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hopefully with some of those miniatures over there. I've just primed up, and some of these as well. So yeah, take care guys, I'll see you when I see you. Bye bye.